Hey everybody, today's video is going to be an overview on why we're not doing Drift Masters, what the plans are for 2025, and everything that's happening with the shop and for competitions. So let's get right into it. So first off, a lot of guys have been asking, what was the reason we even went into Drift Masters to begin with? The reason that I chose to do Drift Masters over other competition series and Formula Drift is mostly because of the opportunity that presented itself for getting on the global stage. Drift Masters at the time had significantly higher viewership, and it had an opportunity to meet and be introduced to people that I've never met before and people that were unaware of who I was and who FDF Race Shop was. So we were very well known in America, in Canada, and Formula Drift. We weren't really going to make any new relationships by going in that direction, but I knew that traveling to Europe in Drift Masters was going to put eyes on our company that nobody had known of us prior. And we successfully accomplished that. And actually the problems that we had during the season kind of allowed for even more of those relationships to be established, because when you need help and the people that are willing to help don't know you, you guys are going to get to know each other pretty well. Some of the most memorable relationships, which we still carry on today, would be with Maurice from Drift Darbnica and Yanis, who also helped with Maurice as well. Those two guys we met in Latvia after we had the Finland crash. I had to rebuild the car in Latvia, which we also met a bunch of great guys where I got the car straightened out. After the crash in Finland, we actually met Edgar, who I knew who he was before prior, obviously, but because we needed our car straightened, his crew chief had a shop that had a very archaic frame straightener, bunch of hydraulics, bunch of arms. Not really anything laser aligned or anything like that, but it was able to pull the chassis back straight again. So I spent a bunch of time at his shop in Latvia for the first part of that week. Got to work with them. So all in all, through all of these relationships, I know I only mentioned a couple, we don't have all day. Those were the most memorable, and we are still working with Maurice. We're working together so we can get products distributed throughout Europe a little bit easier. And you know, with the VAT tax and with the shipping and everything else, that is quite challenging. But with him, I think we are going to be able to do it over the next few years. And it's going to be something that we're working towards, because we are a global brand solving problems that apply to racing and drifting around the world. So why not open up the channels to global distribution? And Drift Masters was honestly the best way to do that. And it was a huge learning experience that we are taking a lot of lessons from. Yeah, let's talk about the main factors as to why we're not doing Drift Masters this year. After being in Drift Masters, it took a toll on my presence at the shop and also with my family as well. So the 6 rounds that we participated in basically require you to be gone for a minimum of 1 week each time. But then there's a lot of prep prior, and there's a lot of in-between work that goes into the program. So you're really losing probably 3 to 4 months total. And that would be a small minimalist program like how we ran. We didn't have a truck and trailer, we shared drift games. We did everything on the smallest budget possible. And the biggest problem was we did not have the seat time to be able to successfully commit to and compete with obviously the best drivers in the world. So that was also a humbling experience coming from competitions locally here in Canada and in the US. Typically we're in the high 90s qualifying score. We're in the top 3. It was a completely different scenario in Europe where we have absolutely no practice. Whenever we went into a qualifying run, we would have maybe done 4 laps prior to that. And in those 4 laps, we had setup changes, a ton of waiting, and a lot of jet lag, because we were at minimum 6 to 7 hours difference in time. And you know, we flew in a little too late, we left a little too early, we didn't do enough prep. All this stuff needed to be taken into account to either improve upon this year or to kind of retool our resources at the shop, get FDF to a more sustainable position, and that is what we're deciding to do with the company side of things. So we've recently just bought a laser, we're expanding the shop, we're looking into more opportunities to grow FDF Race Shop, and that requires a ton of time from me. And ultimately I had to reflect on what my goals are in life, in business, and as a competitive driver. Obviously, I love competing. I've always been this way. Really what it comes down to is I want to have fun still while driving, and then I want to grow the drifting scene locally and actually put a bunch of my time into that. So really, the reason we're not doing Drift Masters is because I want to build the brand, put a bunch of time into the Canadian and US drifting market, which the Canadian side of things needs a lot of help. And what better company and person to do that other than myself and everyone here at FTF Race Shop. So we're gonna really put a lot of energy into our own drift events. And I'm also gonna be competing in the Canadian Drift Championship for DMCC, which is primarily done in Quebec, but I'm going to be using that as a great seat time. The competitiveness in that series is very high, and the drivers there are really good. They do a tire limit, so you can only use a certain tire and a certain size. That really brings it down to the driver, and I'm really excited to promote their series and show you guys how good DMCC really is. All in all, we're just going to put our investments back into ourselves and into the roots of drifting here, and also expand into other types of racing. We have a ton of company ideas and projects that we're working on that are going to bring us into the road racing market. I'm really excited about doing that as well. So really, for me, the goals as a competitive drift driver may bring me into my late 30s and early 40s, but I don't think that I'm done with competitive drifting just for right now. We need to invest more into the roots here. 2025 really has on my mind to focus on products that allow drivers to enter into drifting easily. So that is like our mini and mild angle kit setups, and also solve as many problems as possible with these chassis to make a street car into a race car. These have primarily been our #1 sellers. We're doing a full business analysis on what is the best market for us. We love what we do. The angle kits are what brought us to you guys, but ultimately we need to function as a company. So the focus for 2025 is to create a great, efficient company that can produce high quality products with proper testing in a timely manner. And we're gonna be focusing on that under $750 price range, entry-level drift products that we will then focus on the ability for you to grow into a mild or mega kit down the road, so that you are able to build your chassis with your skills kind of in line with each other, because it's a really bad idea to start with every single handicap on the market as a new driver. It would be like playing a video game and paying for all of the best attachments. What that really is gonna do is create a band-aid for developing skills, and it kind of goes that way for basically anything that you were to ever relate that to competitively. So that's what we're focusing on as a company, and that's done really well for us. Anytime we release a mini kit for a vehicle, it always does really well. The margins are good on these products. We can turn them out in a timely manner, and that is going to be the focus, along with getting into other forms of racing, possibly building some smaller size drift projects that we will be able to drive. All of this stuff is going to be revealed throughout the year, but we have a lot of plans, a lot of meetings, and a lot of directions to decide on. As far as the building of the chassis goes, we are building James Dunn's Corvette. He actually bought my S14. You guys have seen him on the channel before. A lot of guys have thought that that is my second Corvette. That actually isn't. It is very similar, if not almost identical, and it is actually using the old S14 engine in that Corvette. But the 2JZ Corvette that we're building currently isn't going to be started until James Dunn's car is complete. And that car, we are working with a lot of companies, including Haltech, who's new. Cage Kits is providing a sick race spec cage that's going to be a thicker wall tubing and also made of chromoly. So I'm going to spend a bunch of time TIG welding that. I'm really excited to do that because we are bringing that car to PRI. That car is going to be in one of these companies' booths that we are currently representing, and we are going to try over time to make a presence of FTF Race Shop at these trade shows as well as time goes on and as our catalog increases for products. We're going to find ourselves needing to be at these trade shows, and I'm really excited to have a company of size that is able to do those things and for it to make sense. Because currently we go there as individuals and we have a lot of great results, great interactions, and we meet new companies, but we want to be one of those companies. And I think that with this car build that we're doing and with the increase in our product catalog and everything else that we're doing, we're really going to have a good reason to be at these places. And it's always a blast to go there and just to develop the FTF Race Shop in the automotive industry and create a space for ourselves that we fit in, that no one else can really take or encroach onto us, because we have a lane that we're paving, and that's really exciting for 2025 that we're doing. And also for 2025, we have announced our new color as of yesterday. This is how it looks. I have no idea how the light is reflecting off of this. It seems to change quite a bit when you go outside versus inside. It's actually called FDF green. I don't really have any other way to describe it other than we spent a bunch of time formulating this with prismatic powder, getting this color. It does not match any other green on the planet because it was formulated specifically for us. So this has been exciting. I think out of all the companies we have been known for green, that's just something that naturally happened. Obviously praying mantises are green, so that obviously whenever you hear the word mantis, you probably somehow think and associate it with green. But this is actually a prototype A90 Supra kit. Looks a lot like the E90 kit. When you start getting into newer vehicles, you really start to see that every single chassis all just start using the same thing as the cars get newer and newer. So, you know, the knuckles, the control arms, the way that they do it, they all start to look the same. So very similar design to the E90 mini kit, but it's actually for the new Supra. That's besides the point. The color is a single stage, high durability outdoor powder coating that has the highest toughness level rating that you can get, and it is a single stage. That's what's the difference between our Pro anodized green color. That required a base and a clear to be applied, and it took obviously much longer to do those steps versus this. And this is actually more durable. It's less intrusive on the dimensions. So basically when you add layers of powder, you're going to be increasing the thickness of the plate. That can affect your tolerances with hardware and things like that. This is really nice because when you apply it, it really doesn't add much layer, and it does have that textured look. So if there's anything going on with the surface finish of the plate, and the alloy plate that we use is the strongest material that you can possibly buy, but it doesn't come in a really nice cold rolled or pickled and oiled format. So there often is some form of imperfections on the material, but you can't tell at all with this powder coating. Probably the biggest news, which we did already release. So as part of the 2025 goals, plans, releases, and things, this is a big one. Jack spent months taking all these photos prior to this. So people think like, well, we just decided to change the color and bam, it's done. It's like, no, this has probably been a year plus in the making of wanting to do it, planning to do it, taking all the photographs, setting up a new backdrop that we came up with, which is just like basically a wooden palette, but it's nice wood, deciding whether we thought that was good or not. I'm excited to announce that that is full in effect. Drift HQ just got their stock order. That whole stock order was all green stuff, so they now have inventory of all this color as well. And from here on out, that is what the color is going to be. Obviously, you can request custom colors still, and we will do those for you, but I know green can probably clash. The worst color is likely red. Unfortunately, a lot of people like red cars or red things. You don't really want to look like a Christmas tree with green products, but I think inside of the wheel well, everything's usually black or something, so it doesn't really affect the livery or style of the car. Worst case, choose a custom color, you'll be fine. But that is basically the main updates that I have for you. We are doing some pretty big things with grip racing stuff. That's all I got for you right now. So let us know in the comments if you guys have any opinions. We have a huge racing schedule. We might just post what that is so that you guys know where we're going. We're gonna be at like 15 plus events, including things like Hyperfest, Grid Life, LZ World Tour within the next 3 weeks. Probably driving Chris Knapp's car. I don't think I'll have enough time after hours to get the Euro Corvette completed, especially because we need to buy new things for it, like body panels and stuff. So I'll likely be driving his car, which is fine. It's gonna be a really busy year. I'm actually gonna be driving probably 3 to 4 times more than I did last year, which was supposed to be the opposite. That's all I gotta say. Jack, you're gonna have to cut out some of the run-on sentences, and we'll see you guys in the next video.